Yeah, hardest thing, like right now, like this cash flow, just trying to, keeping the money, because commercial work, usually it's net 45 or net 60 days. So you're waiting 2 months to have that money rolling in. And we take all these accounts, and then you have to wait 60 days to be able to get paid. And then you got guys working. So, like cash flow is the biggest, scariest part.
Welcome to the Landscape Cafe, brought to you with support from Fort Myers Garden Service, maintaining and protecting business and residential landscapes. Visit fortmyersgardenservice.com or call 239-990-7494.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. Awesome, man. How's it going out there?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. What you got going on today?
We're just doing some maintenance out in LaBelle. We do a couple things out here in LaBelle we take care of, so we just doing maintenance today out here.
Oh, that's awesome. What do you do residential or commercial out there?
We do just commercial out this way. We do residential mostly in Cape Coral and Alva and Buckingham area, out that way. That's mostly where we do all our residential at.
You guys cover quite a big area, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Commercial-wise, we do anything from Naples to Port Charlotte.
Okay, wow. So you guys will travel. You'll go wherever you need to, right?
Yeah, for our commercial, because we do a commercial through a third party. So we do, if it's one site, we have to do them all within between Port Charlotte and basically Marco Island.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So you got like a commercial contract with somebody, and you can basically you either take them all or take them none, huh?
Yeah. You can't pick and choose either. Yeah, you got to take them all, or you just got to do them all, because that's all they give you the choice for. So
there you go. Well, get it done. So how did you acquire that contract, and how long have you had it? How do you like it?
One day they called me and asked me to come out to the one site in LaBelle. And I came out here, looked at it, and everything looked fine. So I signed the contract for just this one site. And then from there on, it has just grew to, I think we take care of 36 commercial sites for them. But
wow.
Other than that, I like it. It's just, you just take care of everything maintenance-wise. You do all the landscaping, you do all the trimming, you do the mowing. Basically anything outdoors of the site we take care of.
Holy cow. That's a pretty great contract, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Some days, it's, they call you and they, we got this, you need to go fix, or you got this, they want to be first to have taken care of. So, you got to take care of them first because.
Right. That makes sense. So do you have any other commercial accounts other than that big commercial contract, or do you just do commercial work for that one only?
We do. There's one other commercial contract we take care of. It's a family friend, but other than that, it's just with this contractor. They do, they do big company sites. We take care of a couple banks. We take care of some car washes and stuff like that.
Nice. That's awesome. So what percentage for your maintenance specifically, what percentage of your maintenance is residential and what percent is commercial?
I'd say, we take care of 36 commercial accounts, and residential, I think we're sitting around 45 to 47.
Nice. Okay. So somewhat evenly spread, a little bit more residential. Yeah. Which ones do you prefer?
It depends on the day, really, because you get phone calls from one, you get phone calls from the other. But mostly I'm in commercial because we just take care of everything. I like to be able to take care of everything. That way I know everything's done correctly. I don't have to worry about other people coming in doing a certain thing and doing something else. I like to be able to take care of everything. So, mostly residential, you're mowing. Some places they want you to take care of everything, but mostly residential, they don't care for that. They just want you to come in and mow, take care of the yard, and that's it. Commercial I like because we can take care of everything. We know exactly what's going on. We know what to do, and we just take care of everything at all the commercial sites.
That way you can appropriately schedule all of your trimming when it needs trimming, when it doesn't. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm a little bit envious, man. I don't know if you own it or not, but I always see you riding around or on social media with this big orange Kubota excavator. Is that yours?
No, we rent Kubota, but no, it's not mine.
Man, that thing is sweet. Even just if it's still a rental, man, to be able to drive that thing and operate that thing, that looks awesome, man. Have you enjoyed using that piece of equipment?
Oh yeah, we enjoyed it. We got into a little bit of excavation earlier this year. We were going to Tampa and we're doing some excavation because I used to do commercial HVAC. So we used to do underground utilities for HVAC. So we had a friend I used to work with. He went to another company, bought into another company, and where we're doing work for him in Tampa and doing all their digging for excavation while they were putting in all the piping and stuff, and then coming back and burying all for them. So that was pretty cool to do this year.
Dang, that's awesome. That's very cool. And so did you rent that machine down here and drive it up there, or did you rent one up there?
Yeah, I just want to rent one up there. Wherever I go, I just rent it. I mean, we're not as busy enough to buy something to keep it that busy. Right. So there's really no point. I mean, I just don't have anywhere to store anything, that size and stuff like that. It's just right now, it's just easier just to rent it and have them maintenance it. I don't have to worry about any of that. And cause it's a time and material job. So, right. I just charge the job as it is, and they're good with it. So that just works out.
Nice. That's smart, man. There's a whole another cost. I've started acquiring some equipment, and it's cool to have, but oh my gosh, it is so much more time and expense that you don't really think about or budget for initially until you figure out you really have to do it. there's a lot that goes on. It's
definitely nowadays. Prices are through the roof. So
absolutely, it's a beautiful thing just to be able to rent and use it, and then give it a little wash and then give it back to the people.
Definitely.
What is the favorite part about your business that you operate?
Favorite part is being in the field. I don't care to be an office guy. I don't like paperwork. I don't like any of that stuff. I just like being in the field, being able to take care of everything, being able, to do everything. And, basically that's it. I mean, I just like being in the field. I don't care about being in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally understand that, man. There's nothing better than that Florida sunlight shining on you, heating you up.
Yeah.
Getting out there, getting some physical exercise. You don't need to go to the gym.
That's cool. You work for yourself. You don't have to push yourself as hard. You can work as hard as you want. You can work less as you want. So it's nice to be able just to, take the time to do stuff and do it right and just be outside.
That is such a blessing of being a business owner. So tell me, man, how did you get started? You said you used to do some HVAC stuff, and now you're in landscaping. How did it evolve?
Yeah, so basically, my wife's dad, her grandfather owned an HVAC company for years, and when we met in 8th grade, and we've been together since 8th grade. So I started working with her dad, HVAC company at 14. And I just did it all through high school, did the weld, you do all the, HVAC, commercial HVAC, your steel pipe. This could be copper pipe. You put in like 24-inch pipe, 36-inch pipe, even small stuff, 2-inch steel pipe. So basically that's what I was doing and stuff. And then my wife went to school to become a nurse, and we needed some extra money. So I just started doing the landscaping on the side hustle because I only worked from 7 to 3:30. So then after 3:30, I'd go out and just get more clients and just start the landscape and start the mowing and stuff. So that's basically how it started.
That's awesome. So it started as a side hustle and then it came to your full-time career, huh?
Yeah, it took about a year, and then I just went off with it. It's scary. It's scary at first. You're making a decent money doing HVAC commercial. You get paid good, but then you quit that one day, and then you just have to keep let it run, and you just keep going with it.
That is awesome, man. I love to hear that story. What has been your scariest thing, or maybe not your scariest thing? What's been your hardest thing that you've had to overcome? Obviously, that is a very scary jump from what you did, but maybe aside from that, what's been your hardest thing in your business?
Yeah, hardest thing, like right now, like this cash flow, this trying to, keeping the money, because commercial work, usually it's net 45 or net 60 days. So you're waiting 2 months to have that money rolling in. And we take all these accounts, and then you have to wait 60 days to be able to get paid. And then you got guys working. So, like cash flow is the biggest scariest part that I've encountered. When you're working by yourself, you're not that worried about it because, if you're tight on money, you're trying to grow, you're tight on money. Well, you don't have to pay yourself that much, that week. You can cut back. But when you have guys, you got to pay your guys every week. You don't have a choice. So, cash flow is part of the scariest thing I've had to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a crazy challenge to try to do that. As I've trying to grow my company, I've realized I've hit a couple points where I'm like, oh crap, how am I going to make this week's payroll? Definitely. It'll put some hair on your chest. It's definitely a scary feeling once you then employ somebody and, they have to pay their bills and, they earned their money that they made, but where's that money going to come from if the client is delayed on paying, or like you said, we actually, it's funny you bring that up. We actually almost went out of business. We took on I think it was 8 Lowe's around Southwest Florida. I think there's 2 in Port Charlotte, 1 in Sarasota, a couple in Fort Myers, and a few in between, but a total of 8 Lowe's contracts. And it was a good contract. I think it was total of about $13,000 a month for us in revenue, which we were probably doing before that. We were probably doing about, $5,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue. And so for this 13,000, this was a big contract to say the least. And it took a lot more guys than we had. So we had to, hire some part-time guys, it was basically friends from high school or friends from church that would come out and run a weed eater, an edger, blower for you. And man, we got into such a pickle with it. It was such a pickle. I think it ended up being like 3 months until the first payment came in. And man, sometimes the payments would get delayed. There was a middleman between Lowe's and us. And it was a real weird situation. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew the money was there. And I'm like, all right, great, let's get it. And I didn't even understand what cash flow meant at that time when I was doing this contract. And but I very quickly learned from one of my mentors when I was explaining the situation. He said, "You got a cash flow problem, man." I was like, apparently I do. So we started figuring all of it out. But long story short, we ended up, getting rid of the contract after like 5 months or something, and just telling them, hey, it's not working for us because the payment terms were not explained clearly to us in the beginning, and I had no idea what I was doing. So it was a very complicated situation. But to say the least, we owed a lot of my friends money, and we had to find that from other places. So it sucked us dry for quite a few months, and it was a very stressful few months. But thank God we were just able to get out of that contract, and we were able to I was able to pick up extra jobs, work 7 days a week to bring in enough, revenue to then turn around and give to my other guys that I owed money to. And it was scary, man. Cash flow is a big deal. Cash flow is a big deal, and they don't teach you that stuff in high school. They don't teach you how to run a business. It's definitely a scary thing. And I've been through it a couple of times since then, just with different growing phases and learning lessons. But thankfully now I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. I've hired, it's called Cycle CPA, and they've helped with me. It's maybe $500 a month or something. So it's not super cheap, but for what it is, it's definitely worth their value. And they've helped me there's a couple things. They do KPIs, so key point indicators, cash flow analysis, and a couple other things that I'm blanking on right now. But they take historical data of where we've been and our growth rates and all those things. They do some formula and they put it on paper for you, and it's so cool. So that's how I've worked on overcoming some of my cash flow problems or concerns. It's still just an estimate, and it doesn't tell the whole picture, but at least brings some ease knowing that there's some math behind the situation. And but that's cool. So
yeah, not a problem. Like this, I'm actually gonna hire them at the beginning of the year. I'm trying to get to this year because I'm still doing it all. But at the beginning of the year, I'm hiring them because there's a couple people out there that I know that have them too. So I'm gonna go in and hire. Yeah. I'm actually going and hiring them too at the beginning of the year once this year gets through, because this year, at the beginning of the year, I was, good and stuff. It was just me. And actually my father-in-law came over. He quit, doing what he was doing. He came over and started helping me. So nice. We picked up a couple of these banks at the beginning of the year. And then they called around March time and said, hey, we got all these other accounts. We were going from $5 to about $7,000 a month, and now we're doing $22,000 a month. So It was a big jump at the beginning of the year for all these maintenance contracts. Having to hire more people, having to do, the extra work. You had, like you were saying before, doing all that work extra, not waiting 60 days. You got so many guys that have to get paid, so you got to have so much in the bank account to be able to pay the guys, because if you don't pay your guys, they're not staying. So, you have to be able to pay the guys. So, being able to do that was very stressful. But like I said, it's just hard to keep track of all that bookkeeping, keep track of all that stuff now. So at the beginning of the year, I plan on hiring them to take care of all my stuff too also.
Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for the next part in this conversation. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, the best place to rate or follow the show is at thelandscapecafe.com. The Landscape Cafe is a production of Pure Landscaping and the Niche Podcast Network. Learn more about Bailey, Katie, and the team by visiting purelandscaping.com.